I'm not going to lie. If I'm Team USA, I'm worried. If I'm Team USA in the women's, I am worried. I'm very, very worried. Because you just lost to a team, as great as they were, that had an hour of practice together. You just lost to a team who had an hour of practice. And that is not good. And yeah, the other team is supremely talented. But that is not good. Especially when you are playing against the teams that are practicing all the time and know how to play with each other and are playing warm-up games. Especially when you are playing a French team who literally would not let their players play in the WNBA. There are no French players playing in the WNBA. The reason? The reason for no French players in the W is because they want to win the Olympics. There's no Gabby Williams there. Malonga, obviously she couldn't play in the WNBA. But the 2 first-round picks, Lacan and Leite, neither of them are on the are playing the NBA. 2 first-round picks could not go to the NBA or WNBA because of their Olympic obligations. So you struggle against a team that did not practice. And then you also struggle against speed. How do you think Belgium are going to play? How do you think Belgium, with Allemande, Emma Messeman, Julie Van Loo, are going to play? Do you think they're going to just go and roll over and let you beat them? No. They almost beat you last year. And they're probably in equally as good shape of beating you this year. And by the way, this team's slower than it was last year. Like, you replaced Ariel Atkins with Chelsea Gray. And I get it. It's a point guard. But there is no world where Ariel Atkins is worse than this current version of Chelsea Gray. You had Fee Collier, who was your best player, who is now injured. Aja Wilson, as much all-worldly as Aja Wilson is, she's not going to get the whistle she gets in the WNBA. She's still probably going to be, she could well be the best player in this entire tournament. But she's not going to get that same whistle. And the best player is, if you were to ask me who the best player in this team will probably be, I would guess Stewie, because I just think her style of play fits in with everything. And you also have your isolation scorer is shooting poorly. You've got a wing who's playing poorly. You've got 6 players that play the same position. You've got Alyssa Thomas, who I don't know what she does for the team. And then you are coming up against teams who are practicing together. Like, I think there's going to be a talent gap as far as the French are concerned. I don't think, as of this point right now, the French team is like good enough to compete in player for player with Team USA. Like, they have, what's her name? They have the point guard that's just does mad stuff. I don't know her name. Like, they have the point guard who does absolutely mental stuff. But they're just not equipped. They're just not. It's so obvious. It's so obvious that it's just a bad team. It's just a bad team. I'm sorry, like, they're probably going to out-talent teams, but this is just a bad team. Like, you might be saying, oh, you've got the 12 best players in the world. No, you don't. You've got the 2 best players in the world. You've got the 2 best players in the world. That's it. That is it. You've got the 2 best players in the world. And you have got a bunch of pieces that do not fit. So, yeah, that's just it. And you've got other teams that are teams. And that's the biggest problem. It's just it can be frustrating because I think this team, to be fair, I want this team to lose. With all the abuse I get from Americans, I'm happy to see them lose. Especially when it's all due to basketball. And I'll always say it. Most of the abuse that I get from Americans is basketball related. And So I'll fire back by supporting every team against you guys in basketball. And I always support the underdogs too. So I hope they lose. I'll be completely honest with that. It'll be great. It'd be great to lose. Don't understand why an American would want their country to lose. But they're in big trouble. They are in big trouble. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be an actual struggle. So I would say it's gonna be really, really, really hard for them to win. If they win, fair play. If they win, fair play. That's all I can say. But there are so many better players that they could have brought in and helped the team and done more and been able to compete with not even compete with other teams, but be able to expose other teams. The problem isn't right here that they're not the best team, because they're by far the best team. The problem is that they're not set up to expose the other teams. They're not set up to play to their strengths. They are set up to help out. Like, that's basically it. This is a team to get Taurasi her 6th ring, to make sure, okay, we're gonna make sure Alyssa Thomas is she gets to go to an Olympics, because she's been snubbed before. Chelsea Gray, oh yeah, she's the point guard. We have to bring her. Jewel Lloyd, we don't care that you're shooting 30% from the field. We're still bringing you. Kelsey Plum, we don't care that at times this season you've barely looked like a WNBA player. In fairness, at times she's looked great as well. We're going to still bring you. This is not a team that was picked on merit. And that is very evident. And it would be one thing if they were all used to playing with each other and they were all like, their chemistry was there, but their chemistry doesn't even seem to be there. This team's in massive trouble. They are in big trouble, and I don't think people realize how much trouble this team is in, because I would say there is a 90% chance that they win the Olympics, whereas I think that if you brought the proper Team USA, as in you brought the actual best 12 players, because they would be able to gain chemistry, and then a coach. The problem is, again, as great as Cheryl Miller is as a coach, it is in the old WNBA style, whereas if you go overseas, if you're looking at what these new players are playing, it's a style of basketball that the WNBA hasn't seen. So, look, they're probably going to win. Just like in the men's. I think the men's team, I've said it before, I've said plenty of times, the men's team are very susceptible to dig themselves a hole. And this team isn't susceptible to dig themselves a hole, but they're susceptible to just not scoring enough. Like, this team is very susceptible to going on scoring droughts, especially if Age is not getting to the line. Because Stewie's an inconsistent shooter. Same with, and like Sabrina and Jackie Young just looked yesterday like they didn't know really what they were doing. They were reliant on Taurasi. But yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.